Well, we've just completed chasing the big boy west on its westbound leg to California. We'll be picking that up again as they're eastbound coming back through our part of the world. But for the time being, we're going to have to break off what we're doing.
And despite the wind, it's always fun to come out and chase the big boy.
You know, I was thinking it wouldn't be that crowded, not compared to 2019, but I think it was just as crowded as it was in 2019.
Just about, really close. It always amazes me how many people want to chase this train. It's just amazing.
You know, and the Union Pacific has always attracted a big crowd, but ever since they rebuilt the big boy, it's just been crazy how many people want to see this locomotive.
Right.
The big boy was restored back in 2018, 2019 by Ed Dickens and the Union Pacific steam crew there in Cheyenne, Wyoming. They were getting it ready for the 150th anniversary of the driving of the Golden Spike at Promontory, Utah. This is Ed Dickens. He's the head of the steam crew there and oversaw the restoration of this magnificent and huge locomotive. This is the steam shop there in Cheyenne where they performed all this amazing work. It was an absolutely Herculean task getting this locomotive rebuilt, and then doing it in such a narrow time frame is just almost inconceivable. This is Ed's new dog. This is Harrison. There we go.
And here is one of my favorite landmarks, is the Evanston Roundhouse. Boy, do I have a lot of memories of coming here.
I've been coming here. Well, we've both been coming here our whole lives.
Oh, yeah.
And I snuck into this roundhouse.
Oh, dear.
Before it was retired. But now that it's been pulled out of active service, the city's taken it over and they're restoring it.
I'm so glad.
And they're also restoring Union Pacific 4420 here.
Right.
This was the shop switcher.
Right.
And so after they closed down the roundhouse and they turned it into, for a brief period, a place for working on tank cars, and this thing was put in the park, and now it's been brought back to the roundhouse, and as the roundhouse is being restored, the shop switcher's being restored.
That is so cool.
Anyway, they've got volunteers working here, and they're making great progress on getting this guy not just cosmetically restored, but running again.
That'd be awesome.
The photographer has become the photographer.
Attention once again, ladies and gentlemen, this southbound train is arriving on the east track. Please be aware of your surroundings. The northbound train is pacing the Big Boy. Once again, please be aware of your surroundings. The southbound train is coming in the station right now. Please remain behind.
Once the train arrived at the UTA hub, the Utah Transit Authority hub in Salt Lake City, they ran the Big Boy through its paces back and forth through the facility here for the enjoyment of the gathered crowds. And then they parked it on the Amtrak spur, the Amtrak siding rather, there at the station, and allowed people to get right up to the locomotive. The next day, July 5th, the locomotive was on display, but only accessible to Union Pacific employees and their guests. There was an amazing amount of foot traffic here and an amazing amount of railroad traffic as well. The area right here is where the front runner trains, the interurbans that run up and down the Wasatch Front, pick up and drop off passengers here at Salt Lake Central. And then just behind us here is where this whole thing connects to the trolley system or the light rail system. They have both trolley and light rail here in Salt Lake. The following day, July 5th, I was able to con my way back into the display over here, not convincing them that I was an employee, but rather a guest of an employee. And Ed here talked me through a whole bunch of very, very interesting information about the locomotive and the restoration, and I'm going to be putting up several videos with this interview that I was able to get with him there at the UTA Transit Hub on the 5th of July. Just amazing information that Ed had to share with us about the restoration of the big boy and how the thing works. One of the reasons for the frequent stops is oiling around. If you look on the locomotive here, you'll see all kinds of little white tubes going to lubrication points. Those are the lubricators for the locomotive, and there's hundreds of feet of these oil lines running all over the locomotive. And yet there are still dozens of places that have to be lubricated by hand. And so you have to stop periodically just to add oil to the lubricators. The guy in the rear seat here in the yellow vest, he's the pilot. He's a lucky individual. One of the UP employees, regular locomotive engineer on this line, and he's called out to help the crew get down the track because he's familiar with the track. So he can tell Ed what's coming up, what grades, what curvatures, and so on, because he's very familiar with the track.
When we're videoing the train, I find it just as interesting to video people. Here we have a gentleman that was so moved by the train he brought his own symbol of America, freedom, and put this little flag down in the rocks. It was just so heartwarming to see this little symbol of our country and then pan up to see something as massive as this big boy.
Well, on to Elko. The train's going to be tying up tonight in Elko, and then on to Portola up in the Sierra Nevada, and then over the Feather River Canyon down into California's Central Valley, eventually tying up in Roseville, just outside of Sacramento, where there will be a magnificent event. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our little video here. We ask you very politely to subscribe to the channel, and if you would even consider joining, which sends us a few dollars, hit the join button. But at the very, very, very least, doesn't cost anything, doesn't hurt, doesn't cause dinosaurs to come back from extinction or anything. But if you would hit the upcoming subscribe button. Zoink! Right there, the subscribe button. Well, we're not sure how you found this video on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring, and we will see you here on Tuesday.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.